Hello there, folks. This is Brian from Tottenham Away. Robbie has asked me to do a video for him for his channel, Lily White Lane, which I'm sort of happy to do, but also a little bit miserable to do. And let me tell you why. And I'm pretty sure you might all agree. Basically, wants me to tell you folks whether or not Paratici and Fonseca will be good for Spurs or be another managerial flop. Obviously, including Paratici as the director of football, general manager, whatever it is that they're going to actually call him. Nobody really knows. I'd have to say I really don't know. I know this isn't good for video, but it's a difficult one to say because we've seen this before. And I think if I was going to go with my brain, which I typically try to do, I would probably say it's going to fail. We've tried this before with other appointments of different people in different aspects of the club. Your director of football role, your head of scouting. There's different people we brought in, and inevitably, almost every time, what ends up happening is they aren't backed. It's hard to think that anything different is going to happen. It really is hard to consider that. Now, having said that, I'm going to try to flip it a little bit with some positivity because I'm generally a positive guy, but Spurs aren't making that easy. Paratici has a good record as at Juventus as a director of football. I say good in that he has done some very good things, but he has also failed miserably in some occasions. But I think it's difficult when you're scouting and when you're attempting to try to bring in players. They have a certain level or expectation based on what you've seen them do at other clubs, and there's a price put on their heads, and then your goal is to try to make them valuable based on bringing them into the club and integrating them into the system that is quite different than the one that they were previously at. So it doesn't always work, and it is a hard thing to do really well, and he seems to have done it, I would say, pretty good in some cases, and in some cases very well. When it comes to Fonseca as a manager, he is the manager that Paratici has been asking for or has been trying to work with. He was looking to try to bring him into Juventus at one point a few years back, which didn't work out. I'm not quite exactly sure why. I think they ended up choosing a different manager. He's good. He's good. He's a good coach. He's an up-and-coming coach. He's young. He reminds me a little bit of Pochettino in sort of the level Pochettino was at when he came to Spurs. But also has won things, and I get it. It's Ukrainian league at Shakhtar. It's not the same level as the Premier League. We all know that. That would be absurd to think otherwise. But he does have some winning mentality built into him. So we'll see if the combination of the two of them together. And let's be honest, the main thing that needs to happen in this case, the most important thing that needs to happen is Levy needs to get away from the football side of things and let these two do their job. And it isn't going to be something that happens in the first season. It isn't going to be immediate. I expect next season to be pretty poisonous to some extent, unless we get very lucky. There's a lot of players that got to go, and they've got a lot of work to do. I'm a little concerned about their lack of Premier League experience, I think, from both of them, and understanding the difficulties of the Premier League and how difficult it is to find players that are capable of playing in it at the level that we need them to. So I'm going to reserve my full opinion when it comes to whether or not they think they'll be successful. I think if they're given a chance to be backed by the club and to be given time by the fans, and I don't think arguably either of those are going to happen. So I guess it doesn't bode well. But anyways, thanks for listening. Brian from the Tottenham Way podcast and YouTube channel. Thanks Lily White Lane for having me on, and I hope you enjoyed the video.